All right, so the first thing that I'll point out is we've got a nice little miniature bar tray
Awesome.
here that actually goes and fits right into the stanchions on the bottom here, and now you've got a nice little drip tray
Mm-hmm.
that is going to be dishwasher safe.
Right, like a bar.
Right, just like a bar.
Now, just real quick, this is the prototype, correct?
This is one of the early versions of the prototype.
Okay.
I think we call this one 1.5. We actually have a 2.0 that's out there.
Nice. 2.0
That
sounds
is right, exactly. That is a much larger diameter.
Okay.
This one we talked about earlier will hold a gallon. This one will not hold a 1 gallon growler. This one is
Okay.
not the prototype that's big enough to do that.
Right.
The commercial version that we do sell will actually hold, and
Okay.
2.0 holds a 1 gallon size growler.
But the science behind it is all the
Science behind it is exactly the
All
same.
right. Take
Correct.
it away, sir.
Correct. Okay, so here in the front you have a miniature version of the same flow control faucet that many bartenders have, or many craft breweries have.
Mm-hmm.
You have a little flow control knob on the side here that allows you to control the flow, minimize the amount of head that forms.
Cool.
It's actually really important as soon as you tap, because as you tap a regular keg,
Mm-hmm.
you usually end up having to pour out or run
Right.
quite a bit to,
Yeah.
to get all of the excess gas out of the line. We don't have that problem.
Oh.
The other thing to point out is we are going to be using the plan is to use a coiled the old phone cord
Mm-hmm.
that
Right.
you and I would remember.
Yeah.
These kids won't.
The Gen X guys, yeah. The two old men here. Holy crap.
So we have two lines here. One, the blue line. On this one, this is our prototype. Again, we're unsure of the colors, on the production
Right.
version. But the larger line will actually be the liquid, and then the black line, or the smaller line, is actually the gas that
cool.
goes in.
Okay.
We have a cap here, and then this is what fits to the top of the growler.
Beautiful.
Here we have our regulator.
Oh, wow.
We have a nice little regulator that has an off position,
That's
and then an adjustable setting so that you can set the gauge. Typically 8 to 10 pounds. We're probably going to have I shouldn't say probably, we will have a pressure guide.
Okay.
It's kind of interesting that different styles of beer use different pressures.
Absolutely.
In most cases, though, you'll never go over 12 pounds.
Okay.
And our production version of the regulator will have a relief valve set probably anywhere from 15 to 16 pounds, just to be safe.
That makes sense. That's great.
And keep the user safe.
Yep. That's a good idea.
It'll also be a really nice element to be able to release the gas as you're changing out you turn the regulator off, release the gas out of the growler.
Yeah.
So that you don't get the nice little pop and
Right.
get beer all over you.
See, followers, listen, these guys have thought this thing through. This is an amazing piece of technology in front of us. I love it so far. So I apologize. I just wanted to say that
No.
this is to think about your customers' safety in this way. I'm impressed. I am really impressed.
Absolutely.
Go ahead, sir.
Absolutely. The gas that we can use, first and foremost, I have to make it a point to say, make sure you use food grade gas.
Absolutely.
You certainly do not want to be sucking down beer that
Right.
has got welding gas on the top of it.
Or
But anyway,
paintball gas, yeah.
Right. Yeah, all the paintball guys, because this is a larger cylinder. This is the 74 gram CO2 cylinder. They also manufacture a 16 gram nitrogen cylinder, the same size, same threads, that can also be used in this if you wanted to decant a nice bottle of wine
Oh, wow.
and save the wine
Yeah.
instead of letting it oxidize and throwing it away.
Nice.
Or using it as a salad dressing. It's hard to justify a $65, $70 bottle of wine as a salad dressing.
Now you have to put over your steak.
Right, exactly. But again, this is the 74 gram cylinder. This is a much larger cylinder available out there in food grade. They also manufacture the smaller ones that more people are familiar with for paintball. They also make food grade versions of those that have the threads on them.
Okay.
There will be there'll be two adapters on the regulator, one for the larger cylinder and one for the smaller cylinder.
Excellent. Okay.
Okay, so first thing to do is to attach said cylinder to the regulator.
Oh, it makes a funny
Get a
noise too.
little bit of gas as you get through.
Excuse me.
But now, yeah, pardon you. But now we can go ahead and I'll make sure there's no water in here. But
Great.
now we're
Oh yeah.
cooking
It's
with
a
gas.
beautiful sound. It really is.
All right, and so now my kind partner is going to hand me a growler. Now, the nice thing about this, and again, I mean, I'm an over-explainer as well. The nice thing about this coil hose is it expands.
Yeah.
And so now you can do this
freely.
without having to readjust things. So, you stay there. All right, so now there is a small void on the top here as they filled the growler up, but you're going to be just fine because this is likely going to go in and
So it's like
capture
a cork,
that.
and then
So there's a rubber stopper here, and then the two
lines. Yeah.
the two lines are connected into the rubber stopper, and then it's basically just twist it right onto
Wow! Look at that.
the growler.
Oh.
And there we go. And actually, you're starting to get some
Yeah. You can see it going in there.
up in here. All right.
Uh-huh.
Now, what we've done is we've designed this to sit upside down.
Oh, okay.
So
get it.
you get everything
Yes.
out of the growler.
That makes sense. Look at that. So,
Now, because this is one of our early prototypes, it does not have the tray on the inside. That will come with other growlers,
So it'll
with
automatically
the
sit
growler
there.
powder. Right, it'll be a tray that actually cradles.
nice.
It'll cradle the smaller grunt or squealer. It will cradle the 64 ounce, and it'll also cradle the 128, the 1 gallon growler.
Gotcha.
Okay. It'll orient it in such a way, and then there'll also be channels that you can put ice down inside it as well. Okay,
Cool.
so now,
so it's tapped.
just to
it's
make
in
sure
there.
that we are all closed up. I just wanted.
I appreciate that since it's over my computer.
Right, exactly.
Oh, sure. You have. I got a little one right here that, for the moment.
All right. So now we're going to pressurize up to 12 pounds.
Okay, so you just turn the dial and
Just
watch
turn the
gauge.
dial,
Simple
and
as
you'll
that.
feel it engage. It'll be kind of loose as you open the valve up to apply the air pressure, and then as soon the tray will actually also have a little spot to hold the regulator, either size bottle, whatever you have in it. Yeah, and so now you're all set and ready to go. And then if you want to close things up.
Awesome. Okay, so you could like put this in your fridge if you got room in your fridge.
Interesting you say that, because we designed this to be able to fit from the front of this. Now you take the drip tray off, but from the front of this to the back of this will actually fit in the depth of a regular refrigerator.
You designed
Even though
it.
we designed it with that in mind, because we knew that there was an opportunity. Maybe they get to the end of one of our customers gets to the end of a party and they don't want to.
Right.
They want to keep it in under pressure, right, and keep it fresh.
Right.
Goes in the fridge and
nice.
Just take the tray off. We couldn't really design for that.
Yeah,
take the tray off, and the tray will actually goes inside. So it's for storage purposes.
So you won't lose it.
Throw it inside, and then away you go.
All right, but otherwise you pack it with ice.
Otherwise you pack it with ice.
Nice.
Right.
Okay. All right. Well,
and you can use the ice, or we like to use the ice packs, right? That you freeze. If you have if you build a mold and you want to shape it the right way, then
okay,
you can do that as well.
All right, so we're gonna have our inaugural pour here.
We are.
All right, here we go. In the gas. Oh, look We have a nice beer. It's got a little bit of head on it at the moment.
It does.
But I mean, it's just this thing just got tapped. Wow. There's a kegerator sitting on top of my bar right now.
Can I have some?
You got a note? Yeah. Here.
Thank you.
We can edit in the other pour.
Yeah.
That's good.
Look at this. This is crazy. I love it. Look at that.
So and if you listen carefully, you can hear the gas.
I can hear it bubbling.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is crazy. So anybody who's on YouTube, listening to this on YouTube, you can see the video of how this just worked, and you can see that beautiful beer. That is awesome. May I?
Absolutely.
Oh,
Cheers.
I feel privileged. All right, so I'm gonna have a beer from a Growler Power. Here we go. Ooh, we're gonna have to review this beer. This smells wonderful. That is wonderful. That's nice. So, this will last 2 weeks.
It will last 2 weeks.
That
you, sir.
is crazy. Because, like, I mean, I don't buy growlers because I know better. I usually end up with a crowler, and those don't last long for me. Beer bloggers, we drink too much. But this is great. I mean,
the one thing that we conceptualized, that Rob and I conceptualized, is the beer thing. You know how they say, "Don't never drink alone." It's not about that. It's about beer. It always has been for me a communal thing.
Yes.
And I mean, it goes back to the beer gardens in Germany, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's a community thing. It's a celebration thing. It's bringing people together. So when we do that, people will say, and we've had some naysayers say, well, it's 64 ounces. It's 4 pints. That's it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it might be only 4 beers, 4 16-ounce beers, but if you're pouring 4-ounce beers,
Right.
it's
Yeah.
16 of them,
And
right? And it's downsizing your consumption, but it has nothing to do with your enjoyment,
Right.
because now you're imbibing in smaller quantities, but you're enjoying it with a much larger audience, and you're sharing this, and then you're not stuck with a half log or a quarter barrel of a beer that you pull one glass off of, and you're like, oh God, this thing's horrible. Why didn't I buy a full keg of this? Now you can move around, right? You've got some flexibility. You can have people at your party bring their favorite growler of beer, and then you can just rotate through the growlers with this instead of.
Well, like you said earlier, if you have like 2 or 3 people with this, now you have a tasting session going on rather than a keg party, and it's all about the flavor of the beer.
Right.
It's all about that taste experience.
Exactly.
Beautiful.
Exactly.
I love it. Well, thank you for demonstrating that.